Are we rolling?
Give it a few more seconds, it just turned on. Yep, we're on.
Okay, it's 9:32 and we're scheduled for a work session. We also had a joint ditch hearing to do, which they canceled. So we won't be doing that. So that's 5 more minutes we'll have for.
Why was it, what was the ditch hearing, why was it canceled? Anybody? I
They,
didn't even know we had one today.
Sandusky County, when there's a hearing, they I think they send out like postcards asking if anybody has any opposition to what the hearing's about. If all of them come back saying that they don't have any issues with the hearing, then they don't have it.
So they got the cards back.
Yeah,
Okay.
Is that legal? Doesn't that have to be a
I guess so, because they
public
do it all
forum?
every 6 years.
That's Sandusky County.
That's their problem.
Exactly.
So, all right, so we had nothing else scheduled for during work session time, but does anybody have anything they want to?
If I could, I would
Sure.
love to give a kind of a review of a seminar that I went to yesterday down in Columbus. It was a seminar on opiate addiction symposium, and it was 83 out of the 88 counties that were there. Our group was Robin Reeves from Firelands, Nancy Cochran from Executive Director of Adams, Chuck Boyer, Seneca County Drug Task Force, Chef Bill Eckleberry, Brian Booz, Assistant County Prosecutor, John Kaler, Defense Attorney, Judge Rep, Judge Shuff, and myself. It was started at 9 and ended up about 4:30 yesterday. I started out, I cried, and then as the day went on, I just, this is really, really heavy. You realize that there are more traffic accidents, more traffic deaths in the state of Ohio. No, there are more heroin and heroin and prescription drug related deaths in the state of Ohio than with our traffic deaths. And what I don't know, and I'm getting definition this morning, but is either alcohol related traffic deaths or just traffic deaths. But you stop to look at it. There are more people dying in the state of Ohio with drug overdoses related to heroin and prescription drugs than with there are deaths on the highway. Now that's monumental. It was just a fulfilled day of doctors explaining, and we have to realize that and I didn't realize it, heroin and prescription drugs, Oxycontin and so forth, are different than other drugs, than cocaine or any of that other stuff. They literally, one time, and one time only, you're hooked. It changes your mind. And so the mindset of any of us in this room and the mindset of a person that's taken heroin one time is different, and it takes 2 years to get their mind back to normal. Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely, it's mind-boggling. The judges are going to get together, and there's some suggestions that are done, and as I said, it runs rampant. Every county in the state of Ohio, they listed, you know, if you're in the yellow area or red area, everyone's red, which means heroin is throughout the state. Some suggestions that were made at the symposium, and the sheriffs are going to, or the judges are going to get together with the sheriffs and other community leaders, and it's called, I don't like this word drug court, they like the word better, recovery court. Drug addicts, especially those that are on heroin and prescription drugs, are different than the normal criminals, shall we say, that come through the court system, and they have to be treated differently. It's just a different thing. So one of the suggestions is that we have a town meeting, and the judges are looking at that. Again, only 2 of the 4 judges were there, so I can't speak for all of them, but to get together and have input from the public. And as I said, one of the suggestions is to have a drug court. So you have a separate court that deals strictly with the drug issues, and where they have to come, not just a probation officer, they have to come back every week, be drug tested, get before the judge, tell them, how their week went, what they've done, social, a whole realm of things. And there is money from the state. The governor actually spoke at this symposium yesterday. There's money from the state to help support some of these issues there. But it's an epidemic. And when you understand how it alters your mind, and that's the thing, it's like, very simple. People say, well, just quit. They can't. They can't. It grabs a hold of them so strong, they can't. It's the scariest thing I've ever experienced, just even to be there. And they had stories, of course, we've all heard those, but stories of, and it covers across all social backgrounds, all everything. This is not for inner city Cleveland and, certain type of the population. It's everybody. It's rural, it's urban, it's metropolitan, it's everything. And it's a continuing to be a greater problem. And I applaud all of those that attended. I think that I have got a different attitude as even being a commissioner. More of a moral responsibility that we have. It was mind altering to me to go to this thing. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come up in the coming weeks and months at the judges and the town hall and the input from the public, and possibly this I hate to use the word drug court, but recovery court is more of a positive thing.
Did they talk anything about that drug that they're administering for heroin users?
Yeah, they had a lot of discussions on that, and I've had some lengthy conversations because we rode in the car with the judges, and kind of the perception in the past was it's tough to give drugs to a drug addict. That's kind of the perception. Why would you give drugs to a drug addict? But when you realize it's a disease, just like diabetes, it's a disease. They need, maybe that's not a good analogy, they need help to get off of, and I guess the analogy they use is like a Teflon frying pan and you put an egg in it. If you take this drug just slips right off the nerves. So the drug actually counteracts this drug that they would take that would be brought on by the courts. It acts like a Teflon pan. When the drug comes in, like the egg comes in the pan, it just slides off. It doesn't affect people if you take this drug. If not, this drug grabs you and it alters your mind and says, give me more, give me more. So as I said, it was a day, a humbling day and a very enlightening day, and something that the citizens of Seneca County, we need to be aware of it, and as commissioners, we need to be prepared somehow, somewhere to support whatever the direction is that comes out of these town meetings and these judges, and they're talking about that you combine this recovery court, you combine juvenile, common police, and municipal. Somehow or these drug dealers can kind of use the system if you've got separate courts. And I don't understand the whole thing enough, but if you combine it, and drugs are drugs. You treat drugs differently than what you do, as I said, a thief or an alcoholic or something like that. So by putting them in this recovery court, it's handled differently, and they can't fool the system. There's a better way to for the judicial system to get their hands around it. I said it's an epidemic. You read in the paper, they're finding syringes around it. It's obvious that it's out there when you start seeing that kind of stuff. And this is not the drug that, it's not a inner city Cleveland problem. It's a Seneca County, it's a Tiffin, Ohio problem, it's an Ottawa County. 83 of the 88 counties were there
Well, it's
in
a
full
cheaper
support.
drug. It's a cheaper drug than some of the other stuff that's on the street.
And that's it, but if you get the education out, that one time, this isn't a recreational drug, one time it's got you hooked. It isn't one of those things you continue to take it over time, you're hooked. Once you, if that wouldn't scare the bejeebies out of anybody, I don't know what would. But maybe that's where the education process comes in. And I think as commissioners, I don't know what to, I'm not suggesting anything, but I know that we have to be behind to support financially whatever the solution is. But again, it's not all gonna fall on, the governor was there and we have his full support. There's grants that are out there and so forth. And once the decision is made as to which direction to go, which is the appropriate direction, then it's, I think that's, we're gonna have to stand behind it and do grants and maybe some support out of the budgets and so forth and so on. It's crazy, just crazy.
Yeah. It's sad stuff.
Not even, I mean, you really can't even expand on that. It's like,
Yeah,
but it's something I didn't know anything about. And I thought, well, okay. I hear kind of peripheral, seeing syringes and stuff, and when the judges suggested this. So, spend a day trying to find out about it. That's it.
okay.
Wish I had better news.
Anything else for work sessions?
Not for me.
What's the latest out here for the tank?
I don't think we've gotten the results back yet. So we're waiting. I think they
Can we
said
call them?
midweek.
I mean, because you got the CSB down there, that they gotta be in a flux down there trying to, because the parking lot's not
Sure.
paved and.
Yep. We talked about that last week. They'll come in and do it. It's just gonna cost us,
Yeah.
Yeah,
An
oh,
Just, you're not
no.
gonna, yeah, it'd
Oh,
cost them
no,
an
no,
ex-
no.
extra relocation fee and
yeah.
then possibly a waste of materials because they'll,
Yeah.
I'm sure that it helps when they do them the same day.
I got
To some
definition.
degree, so.
Heroin overdoses, what I was unsure of, was it more than alcohol-related deaths or all deaths, all traffic deaths? It's all traffic deaths. I'm sorry, I'm a one-track mind. Apologize.
Yeah, I don't know, we didn't wanna pay the extra to get it by Friday afternoon, because it'd been Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
So I think then they said it was gonna be Tuesday, at least Tuesday probably, before we had the results. As soon as they do, we'll know whether they gotta dig more dirt out, they could put the dirt in the hole, they gotta haul it away.
I would suggest that we would just call Bex, since he's the one that called the people in, and I don't know,
We can do that.
is it a government agency that's doing the testing?
No, I think it's a
private.
private firm.
Do we get a cost? Anybody? I mean, not that it makes any
Um,
difference what it is, it is.
I think we're up to 10,000, just in the preliminary stuff they've done. So, you said they thought it would cost 20 grand, and but we got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do it, we gotta follow the law.
So we just have to-
Yeah, I can call them and see if they have an update on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine those results go right back to back.
Yeah.
Kinda, I mean, maybe to hurry it along a little bit, if you call them, we may be number 22 on their priorities, and we need to be number 1.
Everybody else wants to be too, probably.
Yeah. It's the old squeaky wheel syndrome. Those that call the most get the most.
Is there any update on the Joint Justice Center? I know you're on that committee, is there?
No, not at this point.
Um,
We just started talking through some things and we're all doing our research and now.
16 weeks is what was given as the other study that's being done. They've let a contract for that, and that they should have a report back in 16 weeks. And I know Commissioner Stacy has been working with, or trying to get together with the mayor on just trying to work on those contractual issues there. So hopefully, as we reported sometime in late October, November, that all this stuff will come together. I know I've had a lot of inquiries as to the green space on the existing annex. If they were to build on that space, and so I've actually am gonna be asking either Mark Zimmerman or Jim Holman as a favor, just to put a couple stakes out on the lawn to where the proposed building would go, so that people could visualize how much additional green space there still would be on the existing lawn. And so that way, over the period of the next couple of months, as people try to wrap this thing around their mind, is whether the benefit of the green space or not, they can see these two, hopefully orange stakes that are sitting out there in the lawn. That would be the footprint of the proposed building on the annex lawn.
In my mind, we're still several years away from building. I'd like to put some more money aside here this fall. So I don't want to get too crazy staking things out yet, because
Yeah.
it's a long ways away from,
Yeah.
even in your scenario, it's still
Mhm,
quite a ways
mhm.
away yet.
Mhm. Stakes may stay out there for 40 years.
Yeah, and we use that for,
Yeah, well, these won't, this is just
Activities.
gonna be just little simple wood stake that's in the ground, and if something comes, they have to pull them up, they have to pull them up, it's not a big deal. I just thought that would be helpful for the residents, just to, that are concerned with that, so they can see in their mind, this is where it's proposed that it would go, and, okay, is there sufficient additional green space or not? That's all up to individuals that have to decide that. But it's better to do it now than what it is to actually have concrete poured, and everyone's gonna say, oh my God, there's not enough green space, or whatever. I'll shut up now.
All right, well,
I'll shut up now.
I don't know if there's anything else anybody else has until we go into regular session at 10 o'clock.
Everybody got a big weekend lined up? July 4th weekend? Looks like the weather's gonna be great.
Do you wanna end work session?
Yeah. Sorry.